So this is how I like to take notes. So the first thing I do is I write down the name of the book or article that I'm reading. In this case, I am learning to get a certification for my job. So I'm going to write the title of the certification. So it's AWS Certified Solutions Architect. Next thing I like to do is I like to make a key, and this kind of shows me how I've broken down my notes. So in the top corner, I will start to write down how I color code everything. So the first is the main chapter that I'm going to be reading or taking notes on, and that is done in orange. Then within the chapter, there are subsections. So I make those the color pink. Then within the subsections, there's like main topics or concepts. So in blue, I write down topics. And then lastly, there are definitions, which is in green. So now to give like an example of how this would look. So I first start off by writing the chapter. So in this case, I'm gonna write chapter 3. I also like to highlight, just so it kind of makes it easier for me to know how I've broken down everything. And when I go back to study it, it just makes it easier for me to remember things. So the subsection is gonna be in pink. So in this case, it's called the 10,000 foot overview. And then within this subsection, there's gonna be multiple topics. So the first topic is called high level services. And I just like to write a little number 1 here just to show that that's like the first thing we're going to go over. And again, I also like to highlight, the subsection part just so I know that's the kind of main topic that we're talking about. So under the high level services, which is my main topic, the first thing I'm going to write down is a definition. So that's in green. So I'm going to write down global infrastructure. And then that's in green. And then I like to switch back to my normal black pen. This just kind of makes it easier on the eye so that there's not so many colors just, going at it. So I'm going to write down the definition. And I also like to highlight the definition because I know that when I come back and study that this is an important term that I have to go over. So that kind of finishes up the first topic. The next topic is called topics on the exam. So I like to put a little number 2 and then I write down in blue. And then underneath that, in this topic, there are no definitions. It's just information. So in this case, I would bullet point and then I would, write whatever and then just keep writing. In many cases, I also have a lot of diagrams just to help me remember. So that's where I can also put it underneath here. And then after that, that concludes that chapter. And then the next thing I like to do is start a new chapter. So in this case, it would be chapter 4. And then I like to highlight this just so it differentiates everything. And then chapter 4 would start. And then when I go back and I study, I mainly go over all of the high level topics and concepts within the chapter and then also the definitions. So what I like to do is when I go back and study, I like to get a red pen and just highlight or make note of things that I'm not really good at or I don't fully understand. So the next time I review for the second time, I can really go over those red notes. So like if I were to go back and say like, oh, like this definition for me is like really difficult to remember, I just don't understand it, I can like make a circle and make like an asterisk to say like, I need to really study this concept a lot more. And so first time around I study, I go through the entire notes. And then the second time I will specifically focus in on the red color. So that's how I take notes, and this is the method that has been really good for me, and I really prefer the color coding method because it makes it easier for me to remember.